say, well, I'm going to say one thing. We admire your conviction. Doesn't take much conviction to believe Jesus is the Christ, the Son of God, in the face of all these other picks you've got. But Christ is the only name under heaven. Every once in a while, you'll get someone saying it's intimidation, I think. In a way that's going to hurt you. It's argumentum ad baculum. We were in a logic speech course or something. And it means argument of the stick. And they get in your face and you're saying I'm going to hell? What are you going to say if I looked you in the face? Are you saying I'm going to go to hell? What would you say to that? Well, if I have to, and it gets down to it, the only way they can get it, I'd say, you better believe it. Yes, you've got to obey Jesus Christ and you're going to go to hell. But I try to start off easy. Paul said to the bishops that were at Ephesus who had come down to meet with him, he wanted to make Jerusalem on time for a feast. He said, I'm free from the blood of all men, for I shrank not from declaring unto you the whole counsel of God. I don't want to go home tonight, any other time, and feel like, well, I was nice, I was apologetic, I was mean, I didn't tell them the truth, but I just can't live that way. I want to be like Paul, be able to say, I shrank. No, I'm not a shrinker. I shrank not from declaring unto you the whole counsel of God. Are you saying I'm going to go to hell? Anyone that doesn't obey Jesus Christ and follow him is going to go to hell. Whether he's a member of the Lord's church, Churches of Christ, whether or not he's my brother in the flesh, whether or not he's my Marine Corps drill instructor, it holds true. And I'll tell them. And if that doesn't get through to them, I'll tell them more and more until it does get through to them. I want to do it in a Christian way, so. God told Ezekiel, rather, he said, Son of man, I made thee a watchman over the house of Israel, to give them warning. And when I say unto the wicked, thou shalt surely die, if thou sayest to the wicked, and he heeds thy warning, he shall save his life. Then he said, but if I say unto the wicked, thou shalt surely die, and you don't play the role of a watchman, you don't tell him so, and he dies, he'll die and be carried away by his sins. But his blood I'll require at your hands. I don't mean to in any way be ugly, or I hope I'm not. I'm from Texas, but I don't think we're ugly. Do you have a relative you just can't bring yourself to say you love? I love you. I want to talk to you. Well, no, there's some people I can't. They're so mean to me and all. Well, leap for joy. Great is your reward in heaven. So persecuted they the prophets that were before you, Jesus said. No, we have to do it. It's harder to do it with maybe relatives, maybe best friend. All right, I want to give you just a second or two. Think of someone. Do you feel that hesitancy of being bold? Joined the boat with the Apostle Paul. He wasn't as bold as he wanted to be, so he asked the saints to pray for him, that he might be bold. Do you have someone that you just rather change the subject, get on flowers or get on hunting, fishing, or anything, but tell them, you know, I've never told you this as much as I love you, but I've watched you and you're a good man, you're a good woman. You need to obey the gospel so you go to heaven. Can you think of someone? Well, what can they say? They can tell you to shut up. Well, they told Jesus, go on, and he went on. That's a scary thing. You know, after he cast out those demons and the swine ran into the sea, go that way and he went. You can do that too. Don't cast your pearls before swine. But you've got to be a watchman. And God God told us to be that way and to tell people and to impress upon them that the King of this universe says this. And I'm going to do it. Please be with me. Whatever way you say it. I have a feeling most of you can say it better than I can. But I say it the best I can. Then skipping on up to Ezekiel 33, verses 2 through 9. God says it this way. Try to put yourself in this sense. He says, if the sword come upon the land, and you're the trumpeter, and you don't, or you blow the trumpet, and they don't flee, there's the enemy coming, you blow the trumpet, they don't flee, they're going to die in their own sins. But this is just the truth. Your blood will I require at their hand. Or their blood will I require at your hand. Excuse me. There's a lot that God tells us we should do or be afraid and have terror for disobedience. And I can freely tell you, if you don't reach out to those that are very difficult for you to reach, you have a right to be afraid. Got to do what God says. God doesn't want to see anyone die, go to hell. He just doesn't want it. So, he says, but if he hears the voice of the trumpet and he flees, he'll save his own self. But if he doesn't, you don't blow the trumpet, and he doesn't flee, he's going to be taken up in his own sins. But his blood will I require. It's your hands. Well, you've got to do it. We all conclude, don't we? I'm my brother's keeper. I talked to my brother John Bill growing up through college, high school, but college. He was a good older brother, better than I deserved. But I talked to him one time, I remember saying, oh, John Bill, I'm just wearing you out. He said, I'm listening. I'm listening. One night up in Michigan, he obeyed the gospel. I remember that day because we went out in Lake Michigan in a boat and the waves, as the wind came up, we didn't notice. The waves were high, way up there, and one of them came over, hit the windshield, whatever you want to call it, and dumped cold water right in his lap. And he went and looked at us like, does this happen? But he obeyed the gospel. His wife said, John Bill, Jerry, she was Presbyterian, her mother was Presbyterian, hated the churches of Christ. Probably for the same reason some people hate me. I don't hate them. But they get upset because I'll tell it like it is, which I believe we should do. And she said, Jerry brainwashed you while you were up there in Michigan. She and I went to the first grade together, second grade, third grade. She was valedictorian, and I had to go to the office every time school was out just to check if I had to go to summer school or not to pass. She was valedictorian. Later on, I found out we had the same IQ. I don't know what it was, but it's in the books. Some students don't blossom in college, go a third year, and then they're okay. I had a brother, my older brother, helped me through that. But nevertheless, she said, he just brainwashed me. Let me have all that stuff he gave you. She's smart. I'm not saying I am, but she was. She was disciplined. She was smart. She started reading that stuff, taking notes. And John just said, I just pass her by and leave her alone. And sometimes it was good to leave her alone. She had a mind of her own. And so he didn't say anything to her, but he said one night, the two boys and her and I were at church. And all of a sudden they gave her the invitation song and she stood. She obeyed the gospel. Sorry. I don't think I'm over Barbara yet. Teasing my daughter. But we all conclude we're our brother's keeper. How can we go home? Aren't we a little cold-hearted if there's someone that needs to hear the truth? And we just let it go. Knowing the fear, the King James uses the terror